If you can empty your mind of all thoughts, your heart will embrace the tranquility of peace. Lao Tzu. We live in a world where striving is the norm. It's all about achievement, peak performance, and self-improvement. We've turned into our own taskmasters, constantly pushing ourselves to do more and move faster. Stress, burnout, depression, and anxiety have woven themselves into the fabric of our daily lives. As these issues grow more common and intense, we're heading from collective self-exploitation to collective self-destruction. Today's society is a Taoist's nightmare. It's so out of sync with the natural flow of life, so fixated on control, status, consumption, and materialism that we've forgotten how to be at peace. Fortunately, ancient Taoist sages left us loads of wisdom to help bring back tranquility in our lives. Take Lao Tzu, for example, who wrote a little manual over 2,000 years ago that's now one of the key Taoist texts. Although times were very different then, the ancient sages faced similar issues. They disagreed with the dominant society and way of life. They sought a different path. We're about to dive into Taoist ideas that could help us let go of this stressful, crazy world. The ongoing grind. Today's world is stressful. Compared to simpler times, we have a lot more on our plate. Just think about the endless choices we have, the many forms of entertainment, and the countless ways we could live our lives. In a previous video on philosopher Byung-Chul Han, we talked about the achievement society we're living in, where we've become our own taskmasters, pushing ourselves to achieve more and more, often to the point of burnout. The craziness of today's system is putting endless strain on everyone. From the pressure to achieve, we're stretching ourselves too thin, running rat races, and trying to optimize every part of our lives. It's like just having a PhD isn't enough. We feel we need to have a PhD, a six-pack, a perfect marriage, an amazing social circle, run marathons, travel, and show off all these things on social media. In this stressful, crazy world where we push each other to self-exploit, it's tough to truly relax. Many people go to bed worried about the future and wake up with their minds filled with endless tasks and to-do lists. Our lives have turned into a series of sprints from one task to the next, with hardly any time for reflection. Contemplation seems like a waste of time. Boredom is seen as bad. Idleness is considered a sin. We feel we should always be grinding, constantly becoming better versions of ourselves, always chasing the next prize. But this non-stop grind without proper breaks will eventually wear us down. Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu has some wisdom that might help us let go and live less stressful lives. The suffering of attachment. The author of the Tao Te Ching, the central text of Taoism, is quite the mystery. Most scholars think it was Lao Tzu, also spelled Lao Zi or Lao Tse, but there's not much historical info on who he really was. Some even doubt he existed at all. The best clue about Lao Tzu's life is his legacy, an 81-chapter book about a mysterious but universal force called Tor. Lao Tzu's philosophy covers themes like going with the flow, the futility of striving too hard, the benefits of softness and harmony with nature. A big part of his teachings is the powerful idea of letting go, which I think is key to a peaceful and balanced life. Embracing this idea can bring enlightenment and freedom. What's great about Lao Tzu's teachings is that they invite us to take a different path. The Tao Te Ching might seem like a guide for rulers, but it's full of wisdom that makes anyone rethink their life, especially those worn out from constant striving. For instance, in chapter 44, Lao Tzu asks, fame or self, which matters more? Self or wealth, which is more precious? Gain or loss, which is more painful? He who is attached to things will suffer much. He who saves will suffer heavy loss. A contented man is never disappointed. He who knows when to stop does not find himself in trouble. He will stay forever safe. Today's society praises excess, whether it's wealth, fame, or material possessions. Showing off your Lambo, you're a winner. Millions of followers on Instagram, you've made it. And so we've grown attached to all these things that are essentially beyond our control. Lao Tzu asks us what's more important, fame and wealth or ourselves, how we feel, our contentment and inner peace. Fame can be nice, especially for those who like attention, but there are many downsides as well, and it's difficult to attain and maintain it. Just look at those who have it, get attached to it, and do the craziest things sometimes out of desperation to stay relevant. And what about money? Money is convenient for sure, but does money itself make us happy? According to Lao Tzu, it doesn't. Ultimately, our happiness and contentment don't depend on all these outside factors. Contentment lies within. It's the absence of lack, the feeling that the way things are is perfectly fine, which doesn't require all the stuff society tells us we should have. We might as well let go of it and focus on cultivating contentment with less. The James Legge translation of the same verse states, "Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you." Embracing simplicity. It's no wonder we're always so busy. Our world offers so many options, so many paths to take, and so many ways to improve ourselves, achieve more, get more, buy more, and experience more. The sheer number of choices can be a source of stress and exhaustion. Let's think about these words from Lao Tzu. If you overesteem talented individuals, people will become overly competitive. If you overvalue possessions, people will begin to steal. Do not display your treasures, or people will become envious. Embracing simplicity. It's no surprise we're always so busy. Our world offers so many options, so many paths to take, and so many ways to improve ourselves, achieve more, get more, buy more, and experience more. The sheer number of choices alone can stress us out. Let's think about these words from Lao Tzu. If you overesteem talented individuals, people will become overly competitive. This simple verse shows the problem with our achievement-focused society. We overvalue talent and accomplishment, so people act accordingly. It's all about achievement and proving we're better than others. This leads to excessive competition in everything, from schools to workplaces to social media. The common good isn't important anymore. It's all about individual success and ego as we've become entrepreneurs of ourselves. Isn't it the same with possessions? These are the success markers we strive for, proof that we've made it. Lao Tzu argues that this leads people to steal, but it also causes unethical behavior and backstabbing to get ahead. Narcissism thrives in this environment because it pays off. Flaunting our stuff makes others envious, which brings more stress. As Lao Tzu said, the more wealth you possess, the harder it is to protect. If we want to reduce stress, embracing simplicity could be a smart move. What if we freed ourselves from these modern-day desires? What if we didn't feel the need to self-optimize in every area? What if we stopped trying to stand out or be successful by society's standards? How peaceful would our lives be if we ignored society's pressures and were content with less? Balance over self-exploitation. Have you ever thought of this idea? Swimming with the stream instead of against it. The concept is simple. Swimming against the current requires lots of effort and might not even get us anywhere. One thing's for sure, it exhausts us. That's why Lao Tzu often mentions the power of non-doing. By understanding how the universe works, we can see that our actions can be counterproductive. For example, Pushing ourselves to constantly self-optimize can lead to burnout, which isn't sustainable. As Lao Tzu said, those who stand on tiptoes do not stand firmly. Lao Tzu also advises against aiming for the highest position. The tallest trees catch the most wind. Being at the top is stressful because many want to take your place. It's much more peaceful in the lower regions, where there's less competition and fewer enemies. We stand more firmly on the ground at lower positions. Lao Tzu also has a message for those rushing to the top or falling for get-rich-quick schemes. Those who rush ahead don't get very far. This applies to multitasking too, which often prevents us from excelling at any one thing. Unfortunately, our society is always in a rush. We're rushing to finish tasks, get wealthy, even self-improve. Learn Spanish in 6 days. Get a six-pack in a week. Become a millionaire by 25. Most of the time, these things don't work. So why rush? Why stretch ourselves thin? Why live on the edge of exhaustion? We're not doing ourselves any favors, yet society tells us to always be busy, showing productivity instead of actually producing something. Substance, balance, patience, careful consideration, and steady progress aren't celebrated, but these are the fundamentals of real success. What if we let go of the societal pressure to overextend ourselves and pursue quick but empty success? Those who try to outshine others dim their own light, wrote Lao Tzu. What if we valued substance over status and balance over self-exploitation? What if we let go of what philosopher Alain de Botton calls status anxiety, the fear of not measuring up to society's expectations, not trying to control everything? Just think about the vastness of the universe to realize how powerless we are as fragile humans on a small rock in the galaxy. Maybe that's why we're obsessed with control, trying to manage our environment and ourselves. Lao Tzu wrote, "Do you want to rule the world and control it? I don't think it can ever be done. The world is a sacred vessel and it cannot be controlled. You will only make it worse if you try. It may slip through your fingers and disappear." There are many ways we try to control our environment and ourselves. For example, we want to feel safe, so we think piling up money and installing 10 security cameras will do the trick. We want others to think highly of us, so we put in a lot of effort to make sure everyone around us is impressed. We want to keep our jobs, so we cater to all our bosses' demands and constantly worry about getting fired. But in reality, we're never truly safe. We can't control what others think of us. We can't dictate how our boss feels about us. Once we realize this, we'll see we're just wasting our time. Holding on to this illusion causes stress, and the universe doesn't let itself be controlled. Why not focus on what we can control? Our ability to find inner peace amidst the chaos. To do that, we need to be willing to let that chaos, the madness we're caught up in, just be. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and share this video if you think someone else could benefit from it.